Alright, what's up guys? This is Campbell, and you're watching Studio Time with Campbell. Today we're talking about Rad City. I'm going to try to keep this kind of short, but it might get a little spicy. We'll see. Starting off with guitars. We've just got this one fading in right now. And then here in just a second, it will actually split into stereo. Got a fuzz guitar there. And we go into the first verse where this begins. And that's me and Chris playing those two parts. And then it's pretty much the same from there. There's this right here. Fiddle start. So there's the pre-chorus, and then you got this right here. It's just comprised of this one holding out the chord. Chris is playing the low octave. And then he's playing it with a fuzz. There's an octave fuzz, and then another fuzz. Okay, and throughout the next chorus, it's more of the same. And then we have the bridge, which is where that's where Tristan's bass solo comes in. We've got one guitar just emphasizing those chords. Other one's just a fuzz. And then we've got this little solo-y bit that I play over Tristan's. More of the same going on here. And then you've got this portion here. My guitar solo there. And then the last thing for guitars is actually during the synth break at the very end. It's something I achieved by, so you have feedback, and then you basically just duplicate it and like raise the pitch and fade those two in and out. Kind of has almost a Mellotron sound. But yeah, so that's all the guitars. We're moving on to drums now. These are pretty simple. It's just a Glyn Johns mic technique with a snare drum mic added. So you kind of get it sounding like this. Got those noise hits. And then after this section, once the bass solo comes in, there's a bunch of distortion that I put on the drums. But yeah, that's essentially it for drums. Moving on to bass. The bass starts off fairly simply in this. Kind of just outlining what I'm playing. So it's pretty clean throughout the remainder of the track. Only starts getting a little spicy in Tristan's bass solo. So added on there are an overdrive and a flanger and a chorus. So with bass and drums together, you get this. With the guitars. So yeah, that's that middle section there. Moving on to the keyboards. So we've got quite a lot going on as far as keyboards go. I believe it starts off with an organ here at the beginning. Then moving on to the second half of the first verse. That one. This one coming up. This bass is hidden quite a lot in the mix, but it is in there. So that's the second half of the chorus where that kicks in right there. So all together that chorus will kind of sound like this. And all of these keyboard parts pretty much remain the same. Things start changing in the bridge. Basically, it's just outlining what we're playing on the on that bridge right there. And this is where the keyboards kind of get a little bit interesting, because they're mostly just playing as accents to what we're doing over the track. So you got this one right here, which is kind of the main synth in this post-bridge section with the bass solo. So you kind of just have that. And then after this portion happens, and then the final thing, which is probably my favorite bit of synth work on maybe the entire record, we have this post, it's almost like a post-song little break, just because we could. So you start off with this one synth, as well as this layered together. And then you've got these little things here. And then this, which may be my favorite sound on the entire record. So when you have all of those mixed up, you have so the whole mix there essentially sounds like this. So moving on to the samples. We have what I believe is a just conversation recorded on my iPhone with a bunch of delay and all that sort of nonsense. I think this was when I was getting this tattoo right here. And then this is, I don't know if you guys remember those toys you find in gift shops where you basically, flip over one end, makes that sound. Recorded it on my iPhone, and it made it on the record. And then you kind of just have all this strange layering effect. We have another conversation that I believe is from when me, Chris, and Sean went to Colorado. And then some sirens to help build the tension. Because in the whole mix, and that is the sound of revolution. Alright, last but not least, we have the vocals. There's actually a couple different things going on here. So we start off with just Chris's lead, and it's actually doubled with a...
There's always someone to run from in Rad City.
It's doubled with this distortion.
Someone to
and there's also a vocoder on it.
run from in Rad City.
There's some ooh-oohs. Yeah, so that's just Chris clearing his throat, but if you listen on the mix, it actually kind of sounds like he's grunting or something. So we move on to the second verse vocals.
On the tip of your tongue, you believe words. On the tip of your tongue, you believe words come out of your mouth to be free. Guns and badges for the elite, and we don't even know who we need. Sometimes I don't know what I should say. Back and forth we go just like a game.
And then the very end of that little bass solo bit. And then the very end.
Siempre hay alguien que está esperando.
And I believe that translates to somebody is always watching you, or something to that effect. But yeah, that's Rad City. It was quite a few more tracks. I believe 9 more tracks from Is This Home? Yeah, it's a wild song. Yeah, so that's Rad City. Um, Kind of a gnarly song. One of the first really fuzz-driven, angry songs we had, which prompted Chris to write the second verse, and then we just crafted the whole, I don't know, this whole musical narrative around the police brutality theme. Uh, and I think we kind of achieved something musically, especially this section right up here. Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet making this episode. Um, I know I should be extremely excited and proud that um, I get to make this episode on this song when it's the 1 year anniversary of the record. But unfortunately, after the death of George Floyd and all these protests that are going on in all 50 states, mind you. It kind of forces me to look through the song in a different lens, and I think that's actually a good thing. I think it demonstrates a lot of the anger felt by the black community, and I don't know. It sounds like civil unrest. I'm gonna leave you guys with a quote I've been seeing on the internet. I'll probably wind up butchering it a little bit, but to stay silent in times of oppression is to be on the side of the oppressor. So make sure that your voice is heard, and let's fight for change. Thanks.